Conscious parenting is so important. First of all, for all of you. Because you have to learn, we have to learn, first of all, to be good parents for ourselves. Because when we evolve, when we change, we have a lot of inner children inside that need caring, patience, compassion, giving a lot of second chances, and talk to them these parts without severity or harshness, but the good and right authority. Very important. And then the way we talk to our children is always inscribed in us. When we think, when we feel, when we act, first of all is recorded in us. So what we do to others, we do it to ourselves. And conscious parenting can be useful for raising your children, which is so important. But then you can also practice anywhere, at the office, if you have employees, or when you talk to your colleagues. You have to become good parents without, of course, complex of superiority and thinking, oh, the other is a child. Wanting the best for others, to be a good mother and a good father all the time. And to understand children, how they talk, their code, because there is a code. It's very important to learn symbolic language. But first of all, when a soul arrives, it triggers a program. You just have to imagine when you are in an office and suddenly in your room where you work there is a new colleague. The ambience will change. It will trigger in you all sorts of memories, all sorts of reactions that were not present without his presence, the presence of this new employee. Imagine a child arriving in the body of a woman with their own luggage, past lives, memories. It triggers all sorts of new programs. And as I said, it's very important to understand the law of resonance. We attract what we are and who we are, but we are not always aware of who we are because there are sometimes a lot of unconscious memories. When we are attracted to someone or something, it is because we have memories that resonate. So when you admire somebody, it's because you have also memories that resonate with the qualities that you admire. But the law of resonance explains also that if we are disturbed by someone or something, it always means that we have memories that resonate. Sometimes it's a little percentage, but it can trigger turbulence, anger. And so the children is the same. If they arrive in your family, it's always a gift from heaven. It's the most beautiful gift that you can ever receive. It's always good for your evolution, whatever difficulties you have with your children. And if you understand, learn symbolic language, you will understand much more profoundly your child, your children. Children are more emotional than intellectual. So you have to develop your EQ, emotional intelligence. And here we are in a spiritual environment, so we can say your spiritual intelligence, where we perceive, we discern, we feel beyond the form. And children can help you to start learning symbolic language because it's more simple, less complicated. And then you can learn with adults where it's more complex, sometimes with more complicated memories. So to understand that there is a code, to understand what your children are telling you. And if you understand this code, your life will become so interesting. You will always see the multi-dimensions behind everything. All of you aspire to go to the 5th or 7th or whatever dimensions, which is great, to raise your soul. In raising your child, you raise yourself. You enter into the multi-dimensions in very simple example. So I'm going to give you a few concrete examples because it's what resonates and helps us to understand this concept. This summer, we were giving a summer camp in Switzerland. And one day, we had a walk in the Swiss mountains with our 2 granddaughters, our daughters, Cassara and Anthony, our son-in-law, and our 2 granddaughters. Lucy is nearly 5 years old, and Asia is 5 months old. Suddenly, while we were walking, Lucy looked at the chain that you are seeing. It's the real photo. There is a chain. And she said, wow. And you know, this beautiful wow. And we were all looking at her. Why on earth, you know, saying about a chain, a wow. If we don't understand symbolic language, you say, she's a little bit weird, but she's a child. But you know, when we understand symbolic language, just this wow, you can understand so many things. Multi-dimensions behind a wow. So you have to analyze just like if it was a dream. There is a state of conscience behind everything that exists. And we know we can interpret it. What's the use? What's the use of a chain? What does it trigger? Here, it's a kind of protection. So there can be the plus and the minus with the chain. For somebody, just to watch a chain can feel not well. And it's just a chain. And we may look at the person and say, come on, what's the problem with you? We can talk about phobia. Tomorrow, we will talk about one phobia. And we don't understand people who have phobia. But they are great beings. They are very open, very sensitive. And if we understand symbolic language, we understand what's behind this phobia. So the chain, in the case of Lucy, it was positive. And then the day after, we passed on again in front of this chain, and she said, oh, it's shining? Wow, the same wow. So it was positive. So it means that Lucy appreciates protection. Because you see, this chain is there. No, don't go into this. This is private. There is an intimacy that you shouldn't be intrusive. Respect the law, the privacy of others, which is so important. Because new generations, and yourself also, whatever age you have, you are so open that you can go sometimes in zones or areas that you shouldn't go. When we are very, very open, there are laws to respect. So for Lucy, we could feel that, yes, she likes when there is protection and not be intrusive, going where I shouldn't go, respecting the intimacy of others. Of course, the negative aspects of a chain, a person, as I said, could feel limited, imprisoned. She would never have been to say a wow if she had memories where she felt inside imprisoned, limitation. She wouldn't have been able. So you see how just a wow. And this is why when you listen to your children, and one day to everybody like that, you are 100% present, so present. You no longer text, messages and say, yes, my darling, yes, and you continue, and then you are 20% present for the child, and the child gets angry and hyperactive because he doesn't feel listened to. Whereas when you listen with the symbolic language, the soul of the child, the soul of an adult feels, wow, I am really listening profoundly, because you listen with the multi-dimensions, not only the chain or the physical dimension or psychological dimension. You listen very profoundly. And this is why your child becomes so interesting. All of you, I know, you love your children. But sometimes you say it's small and they say repeat little things and it's not important, and I have big projects that I get excited with my big projects. But when we listen like that, we know symbolic language, it's no longer small. Imagine, it's infinite. You can listen all the time. With our daughter, Kasara, she was raised like that. I was listening to her so profoundly. Quality time. Even if we are very busy, quality time. And this quality time, if you are able to listen with the symbolic language, you are a period of time, and then you have your other activities. You are a busy person. But for the child, it will be eternity. Just this moment. Otherwise, you can spend few hours with him, but you are not there, not so interested, doing something else. It's nothing for the child. So you see how we can understand. Another example. As I said, we think that children, they talk with incoherence. It's not coherent. But we say it's a child, it's normal. No, 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 no. Did you know that they are always coherent when we understand symbolic language? And they feel that. Otherwise, if in our mind we don't say, but you know now, all of you, that we perceive thoughts, and Aurelio explained also the resonance and the sounds, the vibration, the frequencies. So they feel a little bit not appreciated, just the fact that we say, oh, he's a child. So when we know that they are always coherent, but what's the meaning? So here is an example. When we were again with Lucy in the mountain, and when she Skyped her parents, she said, oh, we have eaten a cheese vegetable book fondue. You know, fondue is cheese and it's melting, and we put raw vegetables and we eat the fondue. It's a typical Swiss plate, but we have arranged it with raw vegetable. So it doesn't mean anything. We have eaten cheese, vegetable, book fondue. What's that? Why she was saying that? In fact, she was saying, I've been nourished. I was nourished. But not only with vegetable, concrete vegetable and cheese, but also with knowledge. Book is related to knowledge. I was nourished on different levels, not only physically. Because we tell our stories, and always, stories is such a great means to help our children. And we insert, examples. We use a rabbit or whatever, and we teach them through stories. Another example, a boy who is 6 years old suddenly said, "Oh, my teeth are crying." What's that? You may say, "What are you saying?" And you may even project, "You are stupid." No, don't say that. The teeth cannot cry. And we rectify the child, and he's saying something so important in just a few words, just a sentence. Your child is passing a message that is so important. The teeth in a dream, but also in the concrete reality. In a dream, we analyze the teeth as the structure of our needs, primary needs. So structure is more profound. It's to be nourished. The teeth is also self-esteem, etc. You can analyze the teeth. So the child was saying, profoundly in my structure, in my needs, there is so much sadness. That was his message. Another expression, another child said, "Mom is eating with her feet." So again, when you hear that, come on, it's incoherent, and you don't pay attention. And it is so important. The child is saying, "Mom," it's very logical. Symbolic language is logical. What do I do with my feet? I advance, I walk. It's action. It's not my eyes, it's my feet. So the child was passing a message to the mom. You nourish yourself, but not only with physical food, because there is food. We are all the time nourished. When we watch a movie, when we listen to someone, when we watch something, it's a kind of nourishment on different levels. So he was saying, my mom, she's nourishing herself just to advance. She needs too much action. And behind that, he was saying, she doesn't nourish me enough in my heart. She wants too much action and to advance and to advance. You see, just one sentence. So you listen, and the soul of the child knows that you have understood him, and is so happy. For example, when we go to some people, and the child is very young, cannot talk yet, but we talk to the child, with our thoughts, say, what are you living now? What's going on with you here? And you see the child is like that, looking for something, scanning. And then he takes a toy and he brings it to us. And it's always right on when we know symbolic language, all the time. Imagine how your life is so fascinating when you live like that. You no longer feel like flying away sometimes because the child is intense and they are so collective now, and you are very collective as a spiritual being. And then you have, it's so intense, give me a break. And the more you want breaks, the more the child is going to come and be hyperactive, angry, and wants your attention. Especially new generation, they are so collective. You have to nourish them, not only with the physical food. They need a lot of attention, but good attention. Sarah was like that. She needed a lot of attention, but we have to codify it well. So, how do we codify children? This is so important right at the beginning. Just like a robot, a very intelligent robot. We codify everything with our insecurities, with everything. But of course, we do our best, always our best. That's very important not to feel guilty if we didn't know. So I'm going to give you another example, how we codify and how, when we read signs, we are aware. We talk a lot about awareness. But one day this awareness is always there. And you are very sensitive people with a lot of intuition, clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience. But adding up the knowledge of symbolic language will help you even more to be more concrete and to be well in the society, with your family, with your colleagues. There will be no longer the spiritual life where, wow, it's so beautiful, serenity, nice. And then the other life, it's heavy, it's intense, too materialistic. One day we fuse both and we can go everywhere, and it's so interesting because we have cleansed our resonance. Memories, negative memories that resonate, we come back to ourselves and transform and cleanse them. We'll explain tomorrow how. So a last example before my husband continued the sharing. This example was with Asia, our granddaughter, who is now 5 months. And it's so beautiful how Sarah is raising her, and Anthony. We are so touched. The right codification. So I'm going to give an example of what happened to me. Such a joy for us to be with Asia. And when she comes, we talk, but I love dancing, dancing with her, in my arms. All sorts of music. Spanish music, Italian music, very active, dynamic, and also Indian music. Om Mani Padme Om. When she cries, we put Om Mani Padme Om, she stops right away. And she's like that. It's so touching. So I was dancing, and it was a beautiful day. So happy, so much joy. And we were looking through the window, and it was raining outside. And when we know symbolic language, rain, water element is always related to our emotions. So there were a lot of beautiful emotions. And suddenly there were a lot of birds that arrived and were flying and be on the tree in front of us, where we live. And Asia was following like that, She was touched by the birds. And I was explaining to her, birds. And I don't need to say birds is related to our thoughts, air element. When we see a bird, I explained for the chain, it triggers memories in us. So we have to analyze the behavior of the birds. It's not in the water, it's in the air. So it's the air element, so it triggers more specifically our thoughts. And an animal is always related to our needs. Very important for a spiritual being to master our needs, to integrate the plus and the qualities of every animal and to transform the negative aspect, because an animal, when it has a need, it doesn't see anything. It doesn't see, oh, I will have a karma, I shouldn't do that. Needs. And it's also the plus of a bird, freedom, always the plus of all the minus. So we were looking at that. And in me, when I talk about the bird, in my memory, it's so fluent now, I even don't need to say, oh, the bird, look, it's about air element. My memories, for me, it's like being fluent in another language. There is a frequency where there is the code also when I talk about a bird. So it's multidimensional, it's not just a bird. And then suddenly, there were other birds that were arriving on another tree, and I was about to say, look, Asia, at the bird. I didn't say it, but I thought it. I wanted to say, look at the fish, but I didn't say it. And straight away, I rectify myself. Say, look at the birds. But there was a sign for me. Why I was about to say a fish. A fish is also an animal, but it's in water. It's more emotional, and it was not at the right place. So I was aware that suddenly I was too happy, too excited, and I became too emotional, and that was not the right codification in my energy. So we codify the child when we are happy. Too much happiness, it's too much. When there is something that is too much, there are lacks. So straight away, I rectify my energy, not just the word. I didn't say it, but my energy, no, Christiane, you are too happy, overflowing emotions. Master to codify yourself well and to codify Lucy well. So you see, we are learning all the time. A last example, we have a kindergarten, and for us, children are so, so important. Kaya will talk about also the plus-minus school program that is also effective here in India now, thousands of students. And we have a kindergarten in Saint Agathe where we live, and we have a few children, and sometimes we show them some extracts from movie and we analyze. And there was a story of an elephant with the baby elephant, a mother elephant and the baby elephant. And then they were hunters, and they were hunting the elephants, and then they managed to escape. And then they were quite in this water, bathing in the water. And then suddenly a boy who is 6 years old said, oh, the water must be cold. And it was not cold at all. It was in Thailand, very warm ambience. So when we don't know, we say, no, it's in Thailand, the water is warm. We are just intellectual, physical. For me, I was understanding that what he saw, the mother hunting, had triggered memories, and an elephant, there is the plus and the minus, but we know that an elephant has got a great, great, great memory. It can remember what somebody did to him many, many years ago after. But anyway, I'm not going to go too much in details, but it had triggered the mother and the baby elephant, and being hunting, aggressiveness. Suddenly, he felt some cold emotions. This is why he said that. And okay, I understand. And the soul knows that you understand, and the child feels so understood. They feel not like a child. We don't talk to a baby like, like some people, they do like. It's a soul. To Asia, she's 5 months old, and we talk Symbolic language we explain to her like everybody. So I could talk days and days. We have examples. We live like that now. I could share so many examples. So this is for you if you feel like knowing more about symbolic language and understanding the multi-dimensions of your being and your children. Welcome on board. So now my husband Kaya is going to continue and share how we can improve our conscious parenting. Thank you.
This afternoon, a young mother came to me. And we met her 5 years ago during the GFSS in 2013 when we came for the first time in India. And I was so touched by the sharing I've had with her. She's now a young mother of a boy of 1 year old. And she has been working with our books really to understand dream interpretation and symbolic language. And before her child was born, it was amazing for her because the family and the astrologers and everyone was saying that it was a baby girl. So imagine, one night, she received a dream. And the baby that was not even born yet came to visit her in a dream. And he said, "Don't listen to anybody. I am a boy. I will be a boy." And then he started to come a few times like this in a dream. He even came to explain his past life. He said that in previous life, he was in Peru and he was in Japan, and he was explaining the life program that he has with them in this lifetime. He said that, and he started to see to her lots of things related to financial crisis, problems, big insecurities with matter, collapse of societies. And a baby, imagine, it's a baby in the dream, a baby boy talking like a great master, coming to explain his life program and what he will have to learn. So of course, when she came to me, knowing that this is my specialty, symbolic language and dream interpretation, we teach in universities, our students are psychiatrists, psychologists, therapists from many, many countries. Even here in India, now for the last 5 years, we offer a program called the DSSI training, Dream Sign Symbol Interpretation Training. And we have students from all over Asia that are coming to India. And so she was a little bit scared, because no one really likes, talking about financial crisis or difficulties like that. So she was like kind of, what does it mean? Is he coming with a program that our family will lose everything and we're going to be very poor? Because in dreams, he was even showing beggars and poor people. It was very intense. He was presenting. And imagine, for those who are here, and if you have received dreams already, but not just vague images, I mean dreams. when, when life is the same, when all your senses are open, when you can smell, when you can see as real as the day. And we have all these powers within ourselves. We can have access to dreams, to signs. And this is all about receptivity. And I have to say also, to be honest, I travel all around the world now, and I see the world. I see the world as it is now. I remember 5 years ago when I came back again in this life to my country, to India. I received lots of dreams explaining the new generations. And I was seeing in dreams that the metaphysical dimensions of India is so amazing, so powerful. It's the only country in the world where you can take a cab and the cab driving is talking on the phone while he's driving, and simultaneously he's listening, of course, to the radio, and he's like just running on the wrong side of the road. And suddenly there's a bus that is coming, and he's having an argument with his girlfriend. If you want to know if you're a spiritual master, you take a cab in India. Then you know your level of evolution and of detachment, because you can die every 3 seconds. But in death, there is something absolutely amazing that is part of this amazing country that I love so much. Because the spirituality in India is very unique. Because everybody is spiritual, even if they don't know. So the cab driver is having an argument, and it's like a matter of 1 second, and the bus is right there, and you see it. It's like a dream, So then you see, okay, is it going to be a nice dream or a nightmare? So then suddenly, right at the moment, you even feel the bus, you even feel the bus like just not even touching the car, of course, but you feel the energy of it. And he's taking a second call, of course, because that's not a problem for him, because he lives with multi-dimensions and he doesn't even know. He is amazing. He has things that so many people are meditating to get, but he has this naturally. He has this naturally. And of course, he's heating at the same time. I am fascinated by the new generations because this is something we see more and more. Technologies are bringing multidimensional aspects to our consciousness. We live in a very, very wonderful time. I am so happy to be born again in this life as a spiritual teacher again, and to be with you and to share with you during this Congress. Because now it's more easy for me to teach in this life. Because I can make the comparison with the consciousness with a computer. How come? How come? Why computer? I have a lot of students that are computer specialists now because I share with them and I explain to them that within ourselves we have a living computer and we record positive and negative memories through all our lives, not only from this life. And the life you receive as a child is in connection with the memories you have inside of yourself and what you have done in previous life. So if you have a bad authority, let's say you have your father and he's very tough with you. He was very tough and he's still probably very tough, especially if you have a business with him. And he's running the show and he doesn't want you to run the show, with him. So how come you have attracted that father? How come you don't have a father that is like so nice with you, so calm, so respectful? Because in your past life, you were like your father. I need to come back again in India to teach the law of karma in the country where this has always been there. What's going on? What is the law of karma? It means that we reap what we sow. What does it mean? What does it mean? It means if you put carrots in the soil, you will receive carrots. If you put potatoes or rice, you're going to have potatoes and rice. So if you put anger in your past life, in your inner garden, if you have recorded negative memories related to anger, what do you think is going to happen in the next life? This is the law of karma. And this is very important to understand that. So, what I share with this young mother, I was with my wife, Christiane, we were so touched because she was thanking us, and for us it was a sign, And it was the last person we talked about just before we do a session on conscious parenting. For some of you it might be like, okay, but we live our life with signs. My life is a dream all the time, not just when I sleep. We are in a dream right now. This is a dimension, one dimension. Einstein explained that there's multi-dimensions. Modern physics are talking about that. We are not just bodies. We are energies. And this energy is much more powerful than any computer and any smartphone you can have and you can find right now on the planet. We don't know how powerful we are, friends. We don't know that. We use just a small percentage of our capacity. I do 50 to 100 to 200 dreams every night for the last 20 years. This is my life. During the day, I take a break, even if I am very busy. I have learned. I have received spiritual autonomy. I receive my teachings in my dreams. I learn about myself, how I was able to improve myself, to work on my memories, to cleanse the memories I have received from my parents and from the societies. And through meditation, we can do lucid dreaming. And we need to teach that to new generation. Do you know what and why we need to teach that to the new generation? Do you want to know why? Because they have an advanced computer within themselves. And if we don't teach them to connect with it, there will be so much problems in our societies, we have no idea. Did you know that only in the US, at 12 years old, starting, statistics are not even counting before 12 years old right now. There are 11% of the population that is taking antidepressants in the US. This is huge. This is huge. Why? Because we live in a time that the consciousness is like expanding. It's not just a time of technology and globalization. It is the time of the opening of consciousness. And we don't know enough what it means. It means that your senses are expanding. You perceive more than before. You can have a teacher in a class with 20 students. Talk to teachers of today. I talk to them. We have school program, like my wife Christiane said, and we offer this in India. If some of you are linked to schools, you can integrate this amazing advanced program on emotional intelligence called the Plus Minus Code School Program. You can go on the website of our foundation. It's plus-code.com. It's amazing, amazing. They study, they learn to decode with symbolic language. And we think this is only for psychologists and psychiatrists. No, 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 no. Children are so in fusion with the metaphysical dimension. A child is more emotional, more spiritual than concrete physics when he is very, very young. So that's why it's so important. And why we need that. I may sound futuristic with what I'm going to say now, but our foundation are established in many, many countries around the world now. We have the #1 website on dream interpretation on the planet. We even have the support of Google. They are offering a very important grant to our foundation because we bring amazing knowledge, very important knowledge for this present time. Dream interpretations and the new generations will have no choice to be here eventually and to try to find answers here or somewhere soon because it's too intense in them. Right now, they are like, do you know what is a normal teenager right now? He's on Instagram, he's on Facebook with 10 friends simultaneously. He's receiving text message from 18 of his friends simultaneously, and he's more than 5 to 7 hours on his smartphone or on computers during the day. He takes portions of time all the time. What do you think is going to happen with time? If you have a new computer, you can push all the buttons that you want, and the computer will continue to work. But after, when the guarantee will expire, I'm not sure your computer will go well. It's the same thing with our consciousness. We are experimenting right now, technologies, but we don't know the side effects of that. I'm not saying technology is not good. No. One of our foundation is called source code technology. And I want to implement, and even here in India, we're opening right now an IT office to really put, our research of symbolic language in computer systems. So eventually, you have a dream interpretation platform where you talk to your phone, you say your dream, and you receive the interpretation. That's my mission on Earth, to prepare this. And we have an entire team. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, because it's a lot of work. We're like monks coding words and words and words. And the dictionary, the source code that you can discover here in the bookshop in the library of here at Pyramid Valley. It's called Dictionary, the Source Code. This is a reference for psychologists, psychiatrists, and therapists. And this is like the first steps of our researchers that are expanding more and more since many years now. So, to understand dreams and to understand the new generations, we need to answer one question. Some of you, maybe you are coming here for the first time. Maybe you are beginning to open your journey. Because if you're here, you're a seeker. And you are trespassing also certain rules. Because your families or grandfather was following a specific path, a religion, etc. One day, we become universal. I am a Hindu, I am a Muslim, I am a Jew, I am a Christian, I am a Jain, I am a Buddhist, I am every religion. Because in every sacred text, we can find wisdom. But we need symbolic language to understand also ancient texts. The stories are explaining wisdom. And sometimes we need to think very deep. Here, symbolic language. Of course, we are in conscious parenting, but this is so important, and the subject is so large. For me, for example, Indian mythology, this is something that I just love. It is in my system. Because there's so much knowledge, but often for many people, the knowledge has been lost. If you don't have symbolic language, how come someone or a region of India is praying a god, and the god is so ugly that a child sometimes is afraid of God? That's not normal. But we don't understand symbolic language, the plus, the minus, and the tendencies, the mixtures of positive and negative. Long time ago, the sages have hidden the knowledge in symbolic language. So when you see a god, because there are gods that are very beautiful, and there are those that are not necessarily beautiful or acting well. But have you ever questioned yourself, saying, maybe the God is telling you, don't do that to become a god? Oh, have you ever questioned your literature, your spiritual text? Have you ever questioned them? This is how we learn. This is what symbolic language is all about. This is, you don't learn only from the facade. The facade is only a small percentage of what something is. And even ourselves. You can see, you can meet a beautiful woman or a beautiful man physically, but there may be troubled soul. Maybe just the envelope is nice. It doesn't mean the person will bring you happiness for the rest of your life. Wow. We think symbolic language is something that is very abstract or very, it's only for high level of psychology, high level of psychiatrists, It's far from us. It's a high philosophy. No, 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 no. No, no, no. I will bring you this very practical. You go to your first date. Oh, one of your friends told you, oh, maybe you can match with, that person, and then, okay, you accept the date. You go to the restaurant, and the man, wow, he's awesome. Really, he's nice, he has washed his teeth, he smells good, he has a nice suit, and he's talking about all this trip in Italy and with his family, and wow. But suddenly, he's asking to the girl, would you like to eat that? Would you like to have more chapati? And then she says, okay, yes, thank you. And then he's calling the waiter. Hey, bring us chapati. Hey, now. She wants chapati now. And fast. Oh. And then he's coming back to you. Are you okay, my dear? You cannot say my love yet. But first date. Are you okay? And then you say, well, what happened? There's two persons. And one day, I am going to be the waiter, and he's going to talk to me like that. Oh, this is symbolic language. You read body language. You hear the tonality of a voice. This is what we study with the DSSI, the Dream Sign Symbol Interpretation Training. This is really, we study life. Not only dreams, because dreams is life. We think it's abstract. We think it's like, it's far from us. We can all receive dreams. You just need to, first you need to sleep, because if you sleep only 4 hours per night, your system doesn't have the time to renew itself. You need a good night's sleep. You need to do meditation also. All this combined to have a healthy life, a good habit, so your body can be free. And your spirit can be free because your body is healthy. That's very important. The more we are spiritual, the more we marry spirit and matter. We don't neglect matter. We do our best so we can have success. Sometimes we think being spiritual is being poor. No. Not necessarily. Depends on your life program. So let me come back to that question that I mentioned. That answers everything. A question that answers everything. Maybe you have heard that. Yes. Lots of people can say that. But I'm going to share with you something that hopefully will make connection for you. There's only one reason why we exist. Not two, not three, not four. Only one reason. Can we combine everything in one reason? Only one? Certain people will say, it's to be happy. Maybe. But it's not enough for me. Because you can be happy and it can be an illusion of happiness. It's not necessarily a true happiness that will stay with you all your life. And the question we will answer together is very important because it is the question that answers also why dreams are important and why our life is important and why symbolic language is very important and why symbolic language, like computer technology, will be in the future one of the most important research that all human beings will do. Oh, I dreamed that already. I know what is coming. I know the future. This is very easy for me to know the future. Very easy. I just need to ask a question, and I receive 10 dreams to explain me the situation. Of course, I have worked on myself, on my memories. I have done so much work to transform myself. And I continue also to take care of my organic garden, to make sure it stays organic. So, that question is, that answer is, we are here to develop qualities. That's it. This is spirituality, friends. It's not to know if there is 7th dimension or 5th, or I'm from this world or that other world or whatever. No, the transcendence of the ego is the real path. Developing qualities will bring you happiness, will bring you prosperity, will bring you love, will bring you everything. And in dreams, all the symbols are talking about positive aspects or negative aspects. So, for computer specialists, 01110011100111, on off, plus minus, minus, plus. The code is all, that's why our dictionary is called the source code, because it's all about developing qualities. Patience, impatience. Honesty, dishonesty. You always have this in life, and all your life is challenged to develop these qualities in your day-to-day life. Because at the end of your life, you have children, you may have work, you may have businesses, but I'm sorry, but at the end of your life, when you're going to be 80, 90, whatever the age, or 95, 100, maybe one day 120, for sure, science will help us to go there. You're going to have to leave this planet eventually. So, you're going to leave with what? Your bank account? No. Your memories. Thank you, and see you tonight for the meditation.
Everyone, let's give our love. Professor Kaya and Christiane Muller, with their beauty of conscious parenting, and then, as they said, tonight we have this beautiful soulful chanting.